Hello, and assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Conversation Piece with your host, Akila. Listen, when I tell you that black people move culture, or at least we get the conversation started. So today, when I opened up Twitter before 7 o'clock in the morning, these were the trending topics from top to bottom. We are becoming, I have no idea what that was about. Roman Polanski, Fashion Nova, Jada and Will, Denzel Washington, Will and Chris, Summer of Soul, Pujols, Dave Chappelle, Ezra Miller, Zendaya, Jada Smith, Don Rickles, Black, Lady Gaga, King Richard, Ducey, hashtag, what just happened? Hashtag, Tuesday Motivations. These were the top 10. Number 10, hashtag, Visible Women. Number 9, Violence. Number 8, The Slap. Number 7, hashtag, WWE Raw. Number 6, Will and Jada. Number 5, Amy Schumer. Number 4, Yukon. Number 3, Wordle 282X. Number 2, Jungkook. And number 1, hashtag Will and Chris. Now I understand that Will slapping Chris is assault, and I do not condone violence. But I had a chat with a friend yesterday, and I was explaining to him how this situation is layered and complex. Because on the one hand, Chris is a comedian, and with comedians, they think, act, and move differently in society. They take the uncomfortable and try and make it funny. They take observations of the world around us with the growing absurdity of human behavior, and they try and make us laugh about it. But is everything funny? Is everything a joke? Are there certain topics that are off limits? Will, Jada, and Chris have an intertwined and complex history. What happened at the Oscars wasn't an isolated event. Back in 2016, Jada called for a boycott of the Oscars because all of the acting categories were all white actors for the second year in a row, which prompted a hashtag #OscarsSoWhite. Chris Rock was the host that year, and Jada sent Chris a video detailing her absence from the show. But she sent Chris a congratulatory message. Chris, in kind, had this to say: Jada's mad her man Will was not nominated for Concussion. I get it. Tell you the truth, I get it. You get mad. Said it's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. You're right. It's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West. Okay? Funny? Absolutely. I didn't see Wild West either. Over the line? Not really. But Jada highlighting the discrepancy with the acting categories by the highest and most visible entertainment industry in the world is subjective. See, this has been my beef with award shows for a while now, because tastes vary, and what I think is good, someone else might think is garbage. And we're both right, because it's subjective. We all have our favorites, and we all think that they deserve every award imaginable, which is why Denzel Washington should have 10 Oscars by now. But that's just me. But Jada capping for her man in 2016 is understandable. And the subsequent joke that Chris Rock made that year, it was funny. But there's a difference. Poking fun at the absurdity of someone being paid so much money for acting and making fun of a woman losing her hair, totally different. How? Let me explain to all the non-black people out here. Hair to a woman is sacred. It is a part of her identity. And in some cultures, it is considered her crown. I'm going to keep this as narrow as possible because I don't want to belabor the point about the policing of black people's hair, and black women in particular. Because in Hollywood, men and women are viewed differently. Duh, that goes without saying. But black women and other women of color had until recently the added burden of looking a certain way, looking the part, quote unquote, looking as Eurocentric as possible, depending on the role. Also factor in colorism, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at. See, certain hairstyles and textures are considered professional, clean, acceptable. But as a black actress, when you're told repeatedly that you have to look a certain way, that can be soul crushing. Not every woman wants to have straight hair. Some of us like our natural hair textures. Why should a woman be penalized by how her hair naturally grows out of her scalp? But that happens in a lot of industries, and in corporate America especially. There was a law recently passed called the Crown Act. It was a California law which prohibits discrimination based on hairstyle and hair texture, and other states are starting to take up this legislation. So, when a woman cuts her hair, it can be deep. When a woman shaves her hair off, it can be personal, it can be scarring, it can be traumatic. How will people see me? Will I be mocked and made to feel undesirable? Hell, black people of a certain hue get that already. I don't look like myself unless you got that Tiffany Haddish energy and say, to hell with y'all. But every woman is different. Jada announced in 2018 that she had alopecia and that she had to shave her head. She stated, quote, "It was terrifying when I first started. I was in the shower one day and then just handful of hair just in my hands. It was one of those times in my life where I was literally shaking with fear," end quote. Alopecia is a medical condition, and one would argue that people with medical conditions should be off limits when it comes to jokes. But this is the tricky line that comedians walk when they formulate their material. Comedian Gary Owen once stated on The Breakfast Club in his shows that how he has a cousin who's disabled, and she was wondering why he made fun of disabled people. Key and Peele had a comedy show on Comedy Central, and in one of their introductions, they were explaining to the audience how they'll be approached by people of Middle Eastern descent. And these people were asking them, why didn't they poke fun at them? Because they were poking fun at everybody else. So what did they start doing? Poking fun at people from the Middle East. Comedian Mo Amir is of Palestinian descent, and he jokes about terrorism and other tropes concerning Islamophobia. Some people consider these topics sensitive, non-starters, courageous, etc. Dave Chappelle, we already know, okay? The point I'm trying to make is that humor seems to operate within a spectrum, and comedians operate within that spectrum. Comedians by nature, they have to be smart and aware because of how they view the world. They try to take it and see the hilarity in it, and some of them now feel that in modern day society, they're being restrictive. People are overly sensitive, people are being humorless to get their jokes. So where is the line? Who is allowed to make a joke at someone else's expense? Are topics off limit? Well, that's debatable. So see, if a joke is well constructed and a punchline not only makes you laugh, but think, then I would argue, and this is my opinion, the joke worked. And Chris Rock is a master at some of the most iconic jokes of all time. Chris Rock is biting, he's provocative, he pushes the line. But once you stop laughing and then scale back the joke, you can see the brilliance and the social commentary that he often tries to point out. For instance, he said, "There isn't a white man in this room that would trade places with me, and I'm rich. That's how good it is to be white." Here's another one. "I can't stand life because I was born a suspect. I look up and there's a bunch of white ladies on the phone. They dial 911 and just wait for me to do something." Here's another one. "You know they say there's no reason to ever hit a woman. Shit. There's a reason to hit everybody. Just don't do it. There's a reason to kick an old man down a flight of stairs. Just don't do it. Ain't nobody above an ass whooping." That joke aged well, wouldn't you say? Will Smith has since apologized to Chris Rock. In a statement, he said, quote, "Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job. But a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line, and I was wrong. I am embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness," end quote. So, there you have it. Will apologized to Chris. Will won the Oscar, and Chris Rock's upcoming comedy tour is what sold out. So are people going because they want to see and hear how he'll respond to the incident? Yes, absolutely. And what about these murmurs of people trying to cancel Will and take back his Oscar? Okay, people with short memories. Do the names Woody Allen, Roman Polanski, do I need to go down the list of problematic people and scenarios surrounding the Academy? No. Will apologize, and I'm sure Chris will accept his apology. Don't feel bad for Chris. Yeah, he was assaulted and humiliated. Not everybody hates Chris, but some will point out that Rock's joke about Jada's hair was a joke that extended beyond her. It was a reminder of how sensitive Black women are about their hair. And I can already hear some of you. Let's stop being so sensitive. Listen, we're conscious about how we present ourselves. We've had to be. We didn't make the rules, but we know how to maneuver within the game. Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. Yes, he did. So, I'm not hating on Rock. Good luck with your comedy tour. I'm a fan of yours, I am. And I'm sure you will leave everybody slap happy. Ooh, did I cross the line? Intention and context, people. That's all I'm saying. If the intention is to be cruel, then you know what they say. Come, chameleon.
Girl, I love your show. Definitely for the culture. Oh man, I am overjoyed. I am proud. I am excited. I am. You know, girl, it is beautiful to watch you merge and weave and intertwine with consciousness itself. I am so proud. It brightens my day to hear what you're gonna come up with next. Akila, I am, girl, you did that. I love y'all. I love you. I love you so much. Peace.
Thank you, Cece. And for those of you who would like to add any comments or colorful commentary, you can go to my page at www.anchor.fm/Akila Lynch. That's AQUILA-LYNCH. Go to the page, hit the message button, record your message, and hit send. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Conversation Piece podcast. I am your humble host, Akila, requesting that you join me again. So, until then, be safe. Love and value yourself so that you can love and value others. I bid you adieu with the greeting, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.